Tansy. The creative team at Nickle-eye's Plant Adventures would like to acknowledge that we are filming on Treaty 6 territory at Amiskwa-Skikwa-Squagan, also known as the Beaver Hill House. We would like to acknowledge and thank all the indigenous people of Turtle Island. We wouldn't be where we are today without their stewardship of the land and all their unique nations and teachings. I hope to honor my heritage and ancestors by passing down the importance of nature and storytelling through this show. We keep our cultures alive through the stories we tell, and I hope someday to hear yours as well. Miigwech. Hi hi. Look at this. All the snow melted. Most of the grass is still brown, and many of the trees are still bare. But it won't be like that for long. Soon the buds will pop open and leaves will begin to grow, because it's spring. Spring is the perfect time to talk about plants. It is when all the plants and animals wake up from the cold winter months and start to grow again. Wildflowers and native flowers are especially important in supporting the local ecosystem. It helps them to thrive. By understanding nature better, we can help plants and animals grow up safe and happy. Join me on my adventure to learn more about spring.
Hello everyone, it's great to see you. Last time we met up, we took a closer look at plants and all the different parts they have. Each part of the plant is very different from the other, and different plants can look different from one another. I mostly took a look at dandelions and pansies and compared the differences between their petals, their stems, their leaves, and their roots. They are quite different. I also talked about how this diversity of parts is really amazing. If the whole plant was the same, it wouldn't be able to survive. But instead it has each of these unique parts. Just like people, we're all unique and we work better when we work together. And then I introduced you to a good friend of mine named Jay. Jay is also very unique and has some very unique talents. She's a magician. We spent some time doing some origami together. First, we just practiced some different folds that you can use in many different ways. And then we made a bird. I love looking at birds in springtime when they come back from their migration. And finally, Jay shared a story with me from where she came from, Korea, called Hangbu and Nolbu, about two brothers, one who was very kind and one who wasn't, and what happened with them. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to our new adventure today.
I'm so happy it's spring. The temperature starts to warm up, and the ground begins to thaw. This is a great time to start planting seeds. Many people plant seeds. Some do it as a hobby. A hobby is something you do to fill up your free time, something you love to do. Some people, like farmers, do it for their job. They make food for people and animals on a farm. When someone grows plants and raises animals for a living, we call it agriculture. A lot of people in Alberta work in agriculture. You have to know a lot about plants and animals to be successful at it. For example, some indigenous nations, like the ones belonging to the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. This is a group of First Nations that live near the Great Lakes. By watching nature carefully, they learned that planting certain plants together would be more successful. They called these plants the Three Sisters. Do you know which plants were the Three Sisters? Let me give you some hints. One is tall. When you go to eat it, you peel back the green husk to find the inside yellow like gold. The second sister comes in many colors, yellow, black, green. They can be stringy. She loves to climb up her taller sister. The third sister stays close to the ground. She can also come in many colors and kinds. You've probably seen one before, a big orange one that you carve in the fall. Did you guess them? Corns, beans, and squash. The three sisters are grown together. They are just like a family. They help each other to grow nice and strong. The corn, the big sister, she will start to go first and make a nice tall stem. This provides a spot for the middle sister, the beans, to climb. While the corn is focused on growing tall, for the first little bit, beans focus on making their roots nice and strong. Once they're ready, they'll pop out of the ground and grow upwards. First, they'll have small leaves, but as they get bigger, they'll grow vines. These vines are what the bean uses to crawl up the corn. This helps it get sun. Finally, the little sister, the squash or the pumpkin, provides shade for the roots using its big leaves. This will keep the ground nice and moist too. It's impressive how well all three sisters work together. I'm so happy my ancestors watched Mother Earth so carefully and learned from her. Observing nature is so important to learn new things and get new ideas. There's so much we don't know. For example, when you visualize corn in your head, what colors do you think of? What do you see? I know I tend to think of the yellow corn that I was talking about. However, there are many types of corn. The indigenous people did not just have yellow corn. They had red and black and orange. It was very colorful. The corn they used is a different species of corn to the corn we use. The other sisters have different varieties too. Remember Persephone and Demeter from the Greek myth I told you? I drew both of them as different types of squashes. I drew Demeter as a butternut squash because I liked how tall and regal it looked. Then I drew Persephone as an acorn squash because I liked the contrast of colors, the bright yellow, orange, and red against the dark green. I think it was fitting for her. As I mentioned before, there's also a wide variety of beans, and they can be grown all throughout Turtle Island. The diversity of the three sisters is important. It's their differences that helps each other grow big and strong. If they were all the same, they couldn't help each other out.
Now that we learned about some plants, let's try planting our own seeds. Nickle-eye's Guide to Planting Your Own Seeds. First, you'll need seeds. You can buy these at most stores, like the grocery store or the hardware store. You can even try find some of your own. Soil. You can find it from your backyard or buy potting soil. Today I'm just using some from the backyard. Optional. Little planting cups, like this one. These are really handy for starting seeds inside and then moving them outside when it gets warmer. First, fill up your little planting tray with soil. Make sure it gets almost to the top and all of them are roughly even. Next, take a look at your seeds. Carefully read what each kind of seed needs. Like, how far deep do they go? On the packet, it'll also tell you other information, like how much sun the plant likes. Keep that in mind when you go to plant your seed, that you're putting it in the best spot for it to grow. Then, make little indents in the soil to put the seed. Most seeds are going to call for about a couple centimeters to half an inch. Think about it as a couple knuckles. On an adult it might be one, but on your smaller hands it might be two. Dig in your hole. Then cover your seeds with a bit more dirt. And finally, water them. Water is really important for your plant to grow, so don't forget to water it. But now that we got it planted, what do we do? Plants take a long time to grow, so you'll need to do other things in the meantime. You can read, you can draw, you can also look up other seeds. What other plants and trees seeds can you find? I found these dandelion seeds, and I found these other tree seeds. I also found these seeds in these berry bushes. Neat! I never tried that before.
It was really lovely looking at all this indigenous knowledge of the three sisters. Recently I spent time with a friend of mine, Ray. She works at the Firefly Institute.
During my time with her, she shared with me a Dene myth about the seasons. Let's listen to it.
My name is Ray, and I want to tell you a story of the Dene, a story of seasons, of the spring and the summer. The first people of the earth had to endure winter for the entire 12 months of the year. Most of the land was covered by massive, moving layers of ice and deep snow. No trees or bushes or flowers could survive in the harsh, gripping cold. The lakes and rivers were frozen, so no water flowed. It was a land of endless cold. One day, when the first people were out hunting, they came upon a bear who had a sack around his neck. The hunters were very curious and asked the bear what was in the sack. The bear growled a reply that he had a sack filled with the abundance of summer's warmth and light. The hunters wanted the sack and offered to trade, but the bear would not part with his sack. The hunters begged the bear, but still he refused to give up his sack. When they saw that it was useless to argue any longer, they decided to return to their people and think of some plan to take away the coveted sack. The chief heard the entire story and called his people together to arrive at a plan of how to take the sack away from the bear. They decided to lure the bear to a great feast, fill him with food, and when he slept, steal the sack. A tempting feast of moose and caribou was prepared. The hunters searched for the bear and located him. They asked the bear to attend the feast in his honor, and the bear readily accepted. The bear arrived in the evening, but did not have the sack around his neck. Although disappointed, the people served the feast anyway. The bear ate his fill and fell asleep. The chief was frustrated and wanted the sack. He ordered 4 of the village's skilled hunters to follow the bear home and steal the sack by any means. The next morning, the bear awoke and bid the chief and his people farewell. The 4 hunters followed closely behind the bear for about an hour when they came upon a large cave. Peering inside, they spotted the sack laying upon the cave floor with 2 black bears guarding it. The hunters were very courageous, and they sprang into the cave to demand the sack. A fierce fight killed 3 of the hunters and mortally wounded the 4th. But before he died, he grabbed the sack and unleashed the abundance of warmth and light. Instantly, the air became warm and the sky filled with bright sunlight. The snow melted into rivers and lakes. The hills and valleys were covered with trees, flowers, and bushes. Strange birds flew in great numbers and built nests, and streams filled with fish. Every year since that time, summer has come to the Dene.
It was really nice listening to that story. It's interesting how different cultures interprets the season changing. I hope to see you next time. Bye!